Among history's most remarkable figures, Maria Nikolaevna, a noble daughter of Russia, was born on June 26, 1899, in Peterhof Palace near St. Petersburg. Who was this young girl whose life ended too soon but still captures imaginations worldwide? How did she grow up in one of the most powerful royal families, only to witness its fall? What made Maria different from her sisters, and why is she remembered today? Please watch my full video until the end, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please make sure to share it with your friends. Thank you. Now, let us dive into the full story. Maria was the third daughter of Emperor Nicholas II and Empress Alexandra. From the moment she was born, she brought a gentle presence to the royal family. Unlike some royals who seemed distant or strict, Maria was known for being kind, humble, and full of life. Her blue eyes and soft smile made her popular among family and palace staff. Growing up in the grand palaces of Russia, she was surrounded by beauty, tradition, and strict routines. Though she had nannies and tutors, Maria's early life was also filled with love and laughter, especially when playing with her three sisters. She was taught how to speak different languages, read history, and behave with grace in royal settings. Maria's quiet strength and warm heart made her stand out, even in a family full of remarkable daughters. Her early life, though short, gives us a touching look into a world that would soon change forever. Living in the Russian Imperial Court was like being inside a storybook filled with sparkling jewels, grand halls, and important traditions. For Maria Nikolaevna, life as a young Grand Duchess meant more than wearing fancy dresses. It meant learning how to act properly, attend formal events, and represent the Romanov family with grace. As a teenager, Maria took part in many ceremonies with her parents, Emperor Nicholas II and Empress Alexandra. Whether it was attending church services, joining royal balls, or greeting important visitors, she always tried her best to follow the rules of court life. Even though she was shy in front of strangers, people admired her politeness and sweet nature. But life in the court was not always magical. There were many responsibilities and not much privacy. The royal children were watched closely, and their days were filled with lessons, prayers, and scheduled activities. Maria often had to smile even when she was tired or missed playing outside like other children. Still, she handled her duties well. She showed respect to elders, helped younger children, and supported her mother during official events. Though she was not as outgoing as her older sisters, Maria's kindness made a quiet impact in the palace. She brought comfort to those around her, even during difficult times. Maria's time in the court reminds us that royalty came with great pressure. Yet, through it all, she remained humble and caring, a true example of noble strength behind palace walls. Maria Nikolaevna shared a deep and loving bond with both her parents, Emperor Nicholas II and Empress Alexandra. While her father was busy with duties as ruler of the Russian Empire, he always made time for his children. Maria especially enjoyed being near him, often joining him during walks or quiet moments at home. Nicholas II was gentle and kind, and he treated Maria with warmth and patience. He called her by sweet nicknames and valued the joy she brought to their family. Whenever he had the chance, he would read to the children or play games with them in the palace gardens. Maria loved these simple times most of all. Her mother, Empress Alexandra, was more serious and often worried about the health of her youngest son, Alexei. Even so, she cared deeply for Maria. She made sure her daughters were educated properly and followed strict routines. Though she showed love in a quiet way, Maria respected her mother and tried to ease her stress by helping with small tasks or staying close during long days. Maria's calm and thoughtful nature often helped balance the family's emotional ups and downs. She was known as the peacemaker among her siblings and offered gentle support to both her parents. In a world filled with pressure and duty, Maria's kind heart brought peace to her family. Her close relationship with her mother and father showed how strong family love could be, even inside a palace surrounded by politics and responsibility. Maria Nikolaevna was the third daughter of the Romanov family, and she shared a very special connection with her three sisters Olga, Tatiana, and Anastasia. Together, they were known as OTMA, a name formed from the first letters of their names. The four sisters were almost always together, whether they were studying, playing, or spending time outdoors. Each sister had her own personality, but they were very close. Maria was known for her sweet and caring nature. She often acted like the middle peacekeeper in the group, calming disagreements and offering comfort. Her older sisters, Olga and Tatiana, were more serious and sometimes acted as leaders. Her younger sister, Anastasia, was playful and full of energy. Maria happily fit between them, offering both kindness and patience. The sisters shared everything: their bedrooms, secrets, dreams, and even clothes. They liked to make each other laugh and often played jokes or made up songs. Their life inside the palace was filled with routines and lessons, but they always found time for each other. Maria also loved spending time with her younger brother, Alexei, who had a serious illness. She was one of the gentlest with him, often comforting him when he felt unwell. Her calmness made her a favorite companion for quiet moments. The family had a strong bond, built on love, faith, and togetherness. Even during hard times, Maria and her siblings leaned on each other for support. Their closeness was more than just friendship. It was a deep connection that gave them strength through all of life's changes. Maria Nikolaevna was raised with a strong focus on learning and good behavior. Like her sisters, she was taught at home by private tutors. Her subjects included reading, writing, history, foreign languages, and religion. The Romanov children had a strict but caring schedule. Lessons were held in a classroom inside the palace, and the teachers were carefully chosen by the family. Maria was a good student, though she was not as quick in academics as her sisters Olga and Tatiana. She sometimes found it hard to focus during long lessons, but she always tried her best and was polite to her teachers. Her favorite subjects were art and religion, and she especially enjoyed drawing and painting. Her personality stood out for its gentleness and warmth. She had a calm and kind heart and was often described as soft-spoken and shy. People who met her said she had soulful eyes and a natural sweetness. Maria was very loving and often thought of others before herself. She enjoyed simple things, like nature walks, drawing, or reading quietly in her room. She was also known for her strong sense of responsibility. Maria helped her mother during times of illness and showed maturity beyond her years. Even though she was not the most outgoing or adventurous of her siblings, she was deeply loved for her honesty, patience, and caring spirit. These traits made Maria not just a princess, but a deeply respected daughter and sister. Her quiet strength and kind nature left a lasting impression on everyone who truly knew her. When World War I began in 1914, everything changed for Maria Nikolaevna and her family. The grand palaces became quieter, and the once happy days were replaced with worry and hard work. Like her older sisters Olga and Tatiana, Maria also wanted to help during the war, but she was still too young to become a nurse like them. Instead of working in hospitals, Maria helped by visiting wounded soldiers with her mother and sisters. She talked to them, brought small gifts, and helped cheer them up with her kind presence. Her warm smile and gentle nature made many soldiers feel better, even if only for a little while. During this time, Maria also saw her parents struggle with stress and fear. Her father, Nicholas II, had taken command of the army, while her mother, Empress Alexandra, stayed in the capital to manage the home front. Maria and her siblings had to grow up quickly. The war brought sadness, as letters from the battlefield told of injuries and loss. life at the palace became simpler. The family gave up many luxuries, wore plain clothes, and ate basic meals. Maria adapted to these changes with quiet strength. She continued her studies and tried to keep the mood light with her gentle humor. Even though she was young, Maria showed maturity during the war. She comforted her family, supported the soldiers, and accepted the hardships with grace. This period showed how caring and brave she really was, even when surrounded by fear and uncertainty. In early 1917, big changes shook Russia. The people were unhappy with the war, hunger, and poor leadership. Protests began, and soon the Russian Revolution started. Maria Nikolaevna's life as a Grand Duchess quickly turned upside down. Her father, Nicholas II, was forced to give up his throne in March of 1917. Maria and her family were no longer royals in power. They were kept under watch in their own palace, and guards controlled everything they did. The happy, peaceful days were gone. Now, fear and silence filled their home. Later that year, Maria and her family were moved to Tobolsk, a faraway town in Siberia. The winters were cold, and they had only simple furniture and plain food. Despite this, Maria stayed close to her sisters, helping with chores and keeping spirits high. She still smiled and joked when she could, trying to make things feel normal. By spring of 1918, the family was moved again, this time to Ekaterinburg. The guards there were harsher. Maria noticed the tension and growing danger around them. She was no longer allowed to walk in gardens or freely move around. Through all these changes, Maria showed courage. Even though her world had changed completely, she did her best to stay strong for her parents and sisters. Her kindness, calm attitude, and love for her family helped them through the darkest moments. Maria's story during this time is one of quiet bravery. She faced the fall of her royal life, fear, and uncertainty, yet remained a symbol of strength and love. After losing their royal titles in March of 1917, Maria Nikolaevna and her family were sent far from St. Petersburg to a cold and distant town called Tobolsk in Siberia. This place was quiet and isolated, far away from the royal life they once knew. They lived in the governor's mansion, but it was nothing like the grand palaces of their past. The house was cold and plain. The rooms were small, and there were no fancy decorations or royal servants. The Romanovs had to adjust to a simple life. Maria helped with daily chores and spent a lot of time reading, sewing, and caring for her younger brother Alexei, who was often unwell. Her kind heart and sense of humor helped keep the family's spirits up. Outside, soldiers guarded the house day and night. The family could not leave the yard or write letters freely. Still, Maria and her sisters tried to stay hopeful. They often played card games and told each other stories to pass the time. The girls were allowed to walk in a small garden, but only when guards agreed. Maria missed the life she once had: the grand halls, the public duties, and the freedom to explore. But in Tobolsk, she grew stronger. She became more thoughtful, more aware of the world beyond royalty. Her quiet courage and love for her family helped everyone cope with their uncertain future. The time in Tobolsk was one of waiting and wondering. Maria did not know what would come next, but she never gave up hope. In the spring of 1918, Maria Nikolaevna and her family were moved from Tobolsk to the city of Ekaterinburg. This city, in the Ural Mountains, became the final stop in their journey. They were taken to a large house called the Ipatiev house, but the family called it the House of Special Purpose. It was surrounded by high fences, and soldiers guarded them closely. Inside, their lives became even more limited. The windows were painted over so they could not look out. Guards watched their every move, and the family was not allowed to go outside. Maria and her sisters were given only small tasks like sewing and mending clothes. They tried to stay busy, but the atmosphere was heavy with fear and sadness. Maria continued to show strength and warmth. She comforted her younger brother Alexei and stayed close to her sisters. Even in this dark time, she tried to smile and stay hopeful. Her courage helped lift the spirits of those around her. Each day, they hoped for good news, maybe rescue, maybe a chance to leave, but none came. Instead, the restrictions became tighter. The guards grew more distant, and their world shrank to the walls of a few rooms. The final days in Ekaterinburg were full of waiting and uncertainty. Maria did not know that her life, along with her family's, would soon come to a sudden and tragic end. But even then, she remained the gentle, brave soul she had always been, holding on to hope, love, and faith, until the very last moment. In the early morning hours of July 17, 1918, Maria Nikolaevna's life came to a heartbreaking end. Around midnight, the guards at the Ipatiev house woke the Romanov family and told them to get dressed. They said the family needed to move to a safer place because of unrest in the city. Still unaware of the truth, Maria and her family followed the instructions quietly. They were led to a small basement room. The family, their doctor, and 3 loyal servants stood together, not knowing what was about to happen. Maria stood near her mother and sisters, dressed in a simple blouse and skirt, trying to remain calm. Suddenly, the guards entered with weapons. The leader read a short statement claiming the family had been sentenced to death. Before anyone could react, the guards opened fire. The room filled with noise, fear, and confusion. Maria and her family were shot, and those who did not die immediately were attacked again until all were dead. After the execution, the guards removed the bodies and tried to hide them in the forest. They used acid and fire to damage the remains and buried them in secret. For many years, no one knew exactly where Maria and her family were laid to rest. The Russian world was shaken, and news of the murder soon spread. For people who loved the Romanovs, especially Maria with her kind heart and grace, it was a moment of deep sorrow. Though her life ended in tragedy, her memory stayed alive through stories told by those who remembered her beauty, kindness, and quiet strength. For many years after the execution of the Romanovs, people around the world wondered what really happened to Maria Nikolaevna and her family. In the early 1990s, scientists made a big discovery. They found a grave near Ekaterinburg that held the remains of the Romanov family. But at first, only 5 bodies were found. 2 children were missing, leading some to believe Maria might have escaped. The mystery sparked many rumors, and even imposters who claimed to be Maria or her sister Anastasia. These stories spread quickly, and some people believed them. But scientists wanted to find the truth. In the year 2007, another grave was discovered in the same area. This one held the remains of 2 young people. Using DNA testing, scientists compared the bones with known samples from relatives of the Romanov family. They confirmed the remains were of Maria and her brother Alexei. The DNA tests proved once and for all that all the Romanov children had died together in 1918. The long-running question about Maria's fate was finally answered. The Russian government and many around the world accepted the findings as true. Maria's identity was no longer just part of a sad mystery, it was finally confirmed by science. Her memory was honored again, this time with the truth. The discovery helped bring closure to one of history's most tragic royal stories, and allowed people to focus on remembering Maria not as a lost princess, but as a real person whose life mattered. Maria Nikolaevna's story has lived on far beyond her short life. Even though she died young, people across the world still remember her. After the truth about her fate was finally confirmed, many felt a deep sense of sadness, but also respect. Maria was more than just a Russian princess. She became a symbol of innocence lost during a time of great change. In 1981, the Russian Orthodox Church outside Russia declared Maria and her family as martyrs. Later, In the year 2000, the Russian Orthodox Church inside Russia officially recognized them as passion bearers, people who faced suffering with deep faith and courage. Maria's memory is also kept alive through books, movies, and television. Many of these stories imagine what her life might have been like, or explore the sadness of her final days. People are drawn to her gentle personality, love for art, and close bond with her sisters. These qualities make her story relatable and meaningful. Her family's old homes, like the Alexander Palace, are now historical sites where people can learn about her life and times. Memorials and special ceremonies also take place to honor the Romanovs, especially in the city of Ekaterinburg, where they were buried. Maria's legacy teaches us about love, family, and the importance of remembering history with honesty. Though her time was short, her story continues to inspire those who value peace, truth, and remembrance. Thank you very much for watching.